You're listening to Just My Show, your number one source for pop culture.
You know my first guest as America's favorite principal of Bayside High, Mr. Belding. I'm talking about, of course, Dennis Haskins. Dennis, how are you?
I'm good, Eric. How about you? Good to catch up with you.
Oh, this is great. Thanks for making time for us. I got to tell you, I've only been doing this show for a little while, but this is the one interview, the few people I've told that I was going to talk to, the reaction is unlike anybody else. People get giddy and excited when they hear that I'm actually going to talk to you on the phone. It's
really a nice thing. Our show is a show of a generation. You know, there's a decade or more of kids who grew up watching the show and it adopted it as their own. And there are a lot of things they learned from it. They went through some of the same things the characters on the show were going through. They liked the way Mr. Belding interacted with the students and the fact that he always tried to do what was best for them. And it's just an amazing thing. When I meet people, they really do identify with it.
It must be, and I don't mean this in a sarcastic way at all, it must be hard for you to go to the mall because you're someone that people watch on TV and they probably feel like they know you, and it's such a likable character. You must have people coming up to you constantly.
Well, it's always very nice. You know, I mean, 98% of the time people are nice. It's, yo, Mr. B, what's up? Or, hey, Mr. Belding, or they look at me, and I'm a little bit older than I was when I did the show, so they're not sure it's me. And when they realize it's me, it's just this big smile comes over their faces. And you see them turn into kids again. You know, it's just a wonderful thing.
And what's amazing about this show is when you look at it on paper, no, it's not that you think it should be a bad show, but it just reading it seems like a show that should be targeted to, you know, young teenagers and that sort of thing. But the reality is the audience, this is a huge cult hit in colleges and even people that are older than that. What is it about this that just made it catch on like that?
Well, here's where the show came in. First of all, Good Morning, Miss Bliss was canceled. We did 13 episodes. It didn't work. But Brandon Tartikoff, it didn't work as good as it could, but there were some elements that they liked. Brandon Tartikoff and Peter Engel, been friends for a long time, and they thought they could turn it into something else, and they were right. Brandon wanted a show that his daughter could watch on Saturday morning instead of cartoons. You know, it was all cartoons back then. So he thought, let's put Zach as the main kid instead of the adults. Let's make the kids the focus. And they brought me along as the principal because it seemed to work. They added 3 more kids, and from that, the rest is history. You know, with the chemistry clicked. The rivalry between Zach and Slater worked over Kelly. And at the same time, Slater's dating Jessie, who was Mama. You know, he called her Mama all the time. Screech chasing Lisa, the girl he could never get. The quote nerd, I hate that word, nerd, and the handsome guy are best friends from growing up, Zach and Screech. So there were all kinds of interesting elements that just came together. And even Mr. Belding being the kind of guy that, yeah, he's going to do what's right, but he's a big kid too. You know, he wanted to have fun and hang out with the kids, and he loved the kids. I mean, that's just, you know, everything worked. And
if you think about it, it's pretty unique. Of all the, I don't know how many shows there have been in history about high schools, but it's a pretty big number. I can't think of one where the principal, you know, played as big a part as it did in this show.
Well, to be honest with you, the first 2 episodes, I think I had 2 lines and 4 lines. From Good Morning, Miss Bliss, they brought me over it, and I thought, holy cow, where'd my character go? And one of the producers said, just do the best you can with what we've given you, and we'll end up getting you more, I promise. We're just establishing the kids. And little by little, you know, if you understand that there has to be somebody for the kids to play against. There has to be a foil, and I was that foil. Mr. Belding was that foil. So that's why it worked. You have to have some authority figure for them to risk things with, to get in trouble with, and he was the guy. You know, so the good news is there was a lot of comedy in that. And there was also some serious things in that, like the episode where Mr. Belding's brother came to the school. He's going to take the kids on a rafting trip, and frankly, Mr. Belding was jealous that his brother was getting so much attention. But then when it came down to it, his brother was going to let the kids down. He was going to bail out on him on this trip, and Mr. Belding throws him out of his school, his own brother. Now, what was cool about that was that Zach was listening, and that Mr. Belding never once ratted on his brother and said he was doing whatever he was doing. He said, something's come up, you just can't go. If you let me, I don't know much about it, but I'll take you. And that was the essence of the relationship between Mr. Belding and the students.
For more, go to www.justmyshow.com.